All right, I'm going to go over just some gutting tools that I made to try to help out my fellow pickers. So one, this right here is I don't know how to pronounce it, a Takijin, 10 pin. It actually has 11 pins in it. Japanese Camlock. So these Japanese Camlocks. So here's one. You have the Alpha Z. You also have Opnus XYs. Sorry, this is XZ, and then I have just a couple variations of these Japanese Camlocks. So what they have in common is obviously you don't want to damage these to take these apart. You don't want to rip these out. They don't come out smoothly. A lot of people don't even deal with them, right? So I just created a device that should fit all of them. Have I tested it all? No, but feel free to test it for me. Eventually, when I pick all these locks, I'll test them all. But what I wanted to show you is what I made for them, right? So one, I made this little screw. So you maybe ask yourself, why not just order a screw? Well, you could, but it's not going to fit these metric systems. So I believe this is a M7, not 100, yeah, M7, but the threads are 0.75, and when you go to the store, they will standard come in at 0.1, so it won't be the right thread and it won't fit on there. When you first print this off, you got to be really careful about making it flat and level, get it worked, and after you do it a couple times, because these have these cut-in grooves like this, they'll kind of shave off that excess. It'll be nice and smooth like this. And then I also have this because maybe you want to mount it. And again, what's the problem? This is an M19. But most standard M19s that you'll find in the store will be an M19 thread like 125, but this is a 1, so it won't fit in the store. So it will just never screw on. So I just made some simple things. You don't need them. You probably do want this because if you leave on this mechanism, that allows it to, stop at that 90-degree turn. Once you take this off for the first time, they're hard to take off the first time you pull this off, but once you take it off the first time, they're actually pretty easy to come off and they might fall off on you. So you might want that one just to hold it in. So anyway, so we're going to go through gutting this. So what I would show you is, let's just take this apart, and I'm going to show you how I would gut it using my tools. All right, so let's get this guy out of the way. And let's take this guy off. So obviously if you picked it, you leave it in frame, and then you would take all this stuff. You notice how this is easily coming out. Once you get it out the first time, kind of pry it out, then it actually comes off pretty loosely. So anyway, so I'm going to get kind of this out of the way. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my tools ready. So what did I make? It's 2 stages. This allows you to get it out. Because what it does is it's just a simple tube, very little low cost of materials. And this will allow you to slide the mechanism to here and not drop all your pins. Okay. Once you run this through, this allows you to target 1 row at a time. Then you can actually put this in here and slide it back like so and target 1 set at a time. So that way if there's just different angles, you don't have to worry about slowly. My first design only had like a notch, and I would take it out, rotate, take out the next one, go down, go down. But this lets you just pull it out in rows, which are kind of most people are used to, so that's very helpful. So what I would do is, if you have a vise, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to get your vise set up, like so. Forgive the shake, but I'm going to get it down as low as I can, and I'm going to crank it down. Okay, making it as level as I can. I'm going to try to show you this as best I can. So I'm going to make this as level as I can. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the key, and I'm going to put the key in here with just a little bit up, and I'm going to grip it with my vise, just pretty much as straight up and down as I possibly can. So I'm going to tighten that down and make that up and down as straight as I can. So now the key's holding really nice. Then there's my platform. So it works, opens it, gives it full rotation. Let's just leave it there for now. Now what happens is there's a little ring here, okay? And I'm going to rotate the ring until I find a hole. There is actually a hole in here. And of course, there's a hole on the other side. So this ring, let me show you, I'll bring it around to the other side. So if you look, this ring can actually rotate, and you'll see an opening. There's an opening. So I'll show you that. See right there? Zoom in a little bit. There's an opening right there. So what you do is you find the hole in it, which I actually found one on this side too. And there's going to be a hole in it somewhere. If you want, you can kind of color it out so there's a rotate. What happens is when you get your pick in there, you're just going to kind of rotate this up. Come on, don't be difficult. I'm trying to just grab the ring and not the actual But you need kind of to get up in there. So you actually do need to, let me rotate this other way. So now you can see I'm actually underneath it now. And I'm going to try to get back under there. So I lost it. So if you can see, I hope you can see it. There's a little hole there. And you can get into these rings. All of them have some little bit of a hole. But once you kind of get in there and get that started, if you can get it to go up, there we go. So now this part is up. Did you see it? So it's up. And then just make sure it doesn't go flying. Pull it up. Now that ring is done. So you can put that ring wherever you want to store it. I'll put it here. Actually, you know what I'll do is I'll put it in this little holder. Like we're going to gut it. So let's bring this around. Like we're going to gut it. Got to put it right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to get it where you can kind of see a little bit of everything in frame. Okay. So what's going to happen now, let me zoom out a little bit. Don't mind my messy work list. So now that that's out, this can come up. So this is the dangerous part. So again, because this is perfectly as up as I can get it, I'm going to put this in here. This actually is a little bit of shavings from so I'm going to use this side much more flush. And all I have to do is just slowly bring it up. And now these hold this down. And now you just safely took that out. That is now out. So step one. You see how that pin came out a little bit? When you don't want this to go up. So if you see pins go out, kind of, this is going to sound disgusting, I apologize. You're going to stroke it down. So basically push down to make the pins all flush. And that, if you go this way and kind of push this way, you could lift up the key more. So once you do that, you can actually hold these pins in really hard. And then you can unscrew this guy right here. Now that it's out, you'd be able to gut this. And these actually don't fall out that easy. So here's you can first show it in your video, so you can still see the core, keeping the core in frame. Let's just pretend we're doing it. You have the core in frame, and you can show them, hey, here's my first row, here's my second row, and let's start taking them out. And these don't have any specialties, so you really don't have to prove anything. So what I would do is I would take this and I would then dump, key width 1, 2, 3, 4, and I would actually just use 5 here. And then what I did is I put the 6 here, okay? And then I would put the spring and the driver here. And I would put the spring and the driver for this row up here. And you can still use this because they're so dang small. Be very careful. So I'm just going to let this kind of be off the side. And again, these actually don't fall out that easy. Maybe it's just mine's gunky. Mine didn't fall out that easy. So now let's talk about getting this removed. So I usually put it onto a flat surface, like so. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my tool, make sure that this slides back and forth, nice and easy, okay? I'll put it right on top of here. Literally put it on top of here, and I'm going to transfer it straight up. Holding this very carefully, that's transferred. This is done, stage 1's done. Now, I can actually show the camera. So what I'll do is when you're trying to figure out which one is which 5 or 6, you can actually hold the key, make sure you're holding the key, it's not ruining this, in the direction, and basically be like, okay, so those are the directions. So that means the stack of 5 is this one. So now I can start, if I took the stack of 5 out and put it here, I could start with the stack of 5 here. So this one's the stack of 5. So now I would hold it like a regular lock now and just bring this down here like so. I can bring it to the camera, and then I can grab some tweezers and I can actually push. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this up a little bit and get it started. There you go. That way it's kind of like started a little bit. So I pushed it a little bit, and now I can actually bring this down and be very slow and deliberate. Bring this light a little bit better. And then I can actually bring this in here like so. Focus. Okay. And now I can actually do this. And there's my first pin. See it? There's the first pin. Pin comes up. I find the easiest thing to do again is once you prove that the pin's in there, you can see the pin is in there. Then you can pretty much just hold it very carefully. You don't want to drop out more pins. Put it upside down and drop it into your collection bucket. That is what I found the easiest. And then again, so now you have the first pin. Okay, keeping this in frame. So I keep this in frame, and then you can put that guy there because this is the first row. And then I can take this guy here and put him right there. And they are itty bitty springs. Be very careful. So again, next step, you come up here and you could show the next one. So what I could do is I could zoom in a little bit, right? And now I can show the next one. And there's the next one. I'll push that further back. And again, I'm just going to show that it's in there. Go to let it drop out. I'm going to put it in my collection bin. And there's the second one. And now let's pretend I'm putting it back. So I did all that and I go through it. You flip this around, you go to the other direction as well. And now I would put this spring very so carefully back in. So. Okay, springs back in. And then I would lay this guy. So these actually have recessed. They have a recessed backing, and I would just kind of place it on top. And just like a single, just like you were pinning a regular lock. And I went the first one. Okay, and then again, put this next one in. Here comes the second one. I just place it on top ever so gently. Push it in. Bring this forward. Boom. And you can do both sides. You bring this out, and it allows you to just trust one at a time. So now that, let's say this is completely pinned back up, obviously I wouldn't be zoomed in and keep everything in frame, which is nice. So I again would get ready to bring it all back together. So what I would do is I would transfer this back. So I like to go face down first. Hold that nice and steady. Get my tool again in here. I will then hold it together and just be nice and slow. Just go straight up. Transferring it back to here. Good. This little tool is done. And now prep the, so I'd put all the pins back in, hold it in position, get the key into place. So I'm going to switch hands. And now I'd secure the key. So the key is secured. Again, remember what we talked about? Stroking down to smooth out all of these so they don't stick out. Make sure the key's flush. Stroke downward so that, because if you lift up at all, one could stick up and then your transition is good. So now it's all set. And again, put it on here. And just slowly and deliberately. And you are now safe again. All the things line up. You can then put this guy back on. So what I like to do is I actually like to bend it a little past on one side, then go to the other side and bend it a little bit past to make it as snug as I can. So now I'm going to put this back on top, like so. A lot easier to put on than to take off. And we are secure. Again, secure. And then what I would do is I put this guy back on. So that way it can turn. So I put this back on, put the nut back on to secure it. And now you could take apart your 10 pins. You can take apart your Alpha Zs. And I have a couple purple belts too, but now you can actually take apart the Japanese Camlocks without having to rip any of these things off and do a pretty relatively easy gut. Be very careful of the springs, guys. You know they go flying. These ones are no exception. If you break them, they're very hard to find and replace. So that's what I have for you. So I'll put in the description where, look in the descriptions, but basically you're going to print two pieces. You print to one side, try to give as much access as you could with the tweezers with this, but yet still be able to block, you know, the next door neighbor's pins from dropping out and still let you tweeze your access. This comes directly in it, which allows you to work on the pins kind of in order and you just use your tweezers slowly pushing back. I gave a tolerance of a 0.2 millimeters, so it does go smoothly and it doesn't grab. I couldn't do any bit wider because then it would spread this out and you get caught and it might not fit. So that's kind of as close as I can get on the tolerance. And it kind of grabs a little bit, so that's good. That's a good thing. And then here is obviously your tool to first extract it. I would highly suggest using that. You can't do it like this, otherwise you have to risk the pins throwing out into this. I would not use this. So basically, again, the toolkit is going to be, you're going to print out 3 pieces. It's going to be here, here, and here. I'm actually going to, let's just say 5. I'll include this bolt in case you want to mount it somewhere, and I'll include this so you can hold the back in. So all this is what I made to kind of just make our lives as pickers easier. We want to enjoy the picking. We don't want to enjoy the gutting. It's miserable, and I just try to make anything I can to make it a little bit easier. So I hope this helps you and take apart your locks, because I know a lot of people out there, I see people picking them, and I either see partial guts or I see explosion of pins everywhere, and now you can actually take these apart a lot easier than what I can find online so far. And maybe someone already made this, and if they did, awesome. But anyway, I'll share what I got. That's what I got for you.